everyone. Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, maybe poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, seeing all the different Toyotas that are out at Overland Expo, then this is the podcast for you. Hey everybody, I'm Jimmy Jett, and welcome to episode 415. And today I have a special guest with me today. I have the assistant on the other side of the mic. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. We're having a fun little road trip after Expo. So here we are. Tyler and I did some recordings while we're at Expo. We've got, I think, three semi-short, two short, one semi, a little longer interviews.
He's got 3 interviews for you today.
Way to make it shorter. Yes, I got it. They all understand as well, I'm sure. But so yeah, we're sitting somewhere. Where are we? Why don't you give everybody a breakdown?
Stevenson, Washington, which is in the Columbia River Gorge, just the border between Washington and Oregon. We're on the Washington side, staring at Oregon right now.
Yeah, actually we are. Huh?
Yeah, we have a really killer view from my friend's place.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what brought us up here?
Visiting my friends.
Yeah.
Childhood friend. I've never actually been to the house that she lives in now. We've been friends forever and ever and ever. And she moved away when we were like 12. And then I'd still go up and visit her, and she'd come down and visit me until we were like adults. And then you get busy doing adult things. We'd still see each other from time to time. But this is my first time being back up in Washington and visiting her in since she got married like 13 years ago or 12 years ago or something.
Last year we saw them. They actually came down to Bend for the expo, and we hung out. You guys hung out. Well, we hung out a few days before
the expo. Yeah.
You guys hung out at least a day of, and then we blasted home to a family reunion on your side, and then we ended up getting COVID.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can avoid the COVID train this time at least.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, so we had a fun time down at Expo, all of us. I think even the secretary came up for this trip, which was fun hanging out with her.
Yes, it was.
Maybe we'll let you guys do a ladies episode, and you can talk about fun things to do not at Expo.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're sitting up here at this fantastic little like mother-in-law's house off of the the main house, staring out at the Columbia River Gorge, looking at Oregon, and doing a little small recap from the assistant's point of view. The mini assistant was going to sit with us, but then all the other kids went out to jump on the trampoline, so she followed them.
Yeah.
So
trampoline wins.
Yeah. I'll run through some maybe quick little updates, then we'll jump into a small little chat about what you guys did or what you thought about Expo, and then we'll start rolling some of the interviews. So we have the Moose Knuckle giveaway, which the assistant really loves. If you guys haven't gone to listen to the Dollops episode of Truck Nuts, you should probably do that. But actually, Moose Knuckle has a really cool shackle. It's called the Jowl, and it doesn't look like their traditional one. It looks more like a traditional bow shackle. It's a split shackle, so it's really easy to use. You don't need to use a soft shackle to put your strap in, and so it eliminates something, and it's still a closed loop system, which is really cool. So we're doing... we received a bunch of stuff from them. I'm not entirely sure if Tyler and I are going to keep 1 or 2 of the shackles for ourselves, but we will have over $100 value of products from Moose Knuckle. And if you're interested in any of their products, check out the links in the show's description, and we have links over to their site as well. We do have the winch group buy still going on for another week or so. So if you want a super winch, a 10,000 pound or 12,000 pound super winch, write Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com. Tell him you're interested in getting in. They're somewhere like $480 and $525. He knows the specifics on those. And then that's going to be the pricing, but I think we are going to have to add some shipping on there. I'm not entirely sure how that is working as of yet. So write Tyler, find out what the deal is, and tell him which winch you want. And let's see, we have this Saturday, I will be out at Fastener Tools Outlet showing off some flex power tools with Lawless Corey. So if you want to come by and say hi, please feel free. And we'll be out there playing with some power tools, having some tacos, maybe having some cervezas. We'll see how that goes.
And where's that happening at?
That is happening at Fastener Tools Outlet. It's off of Power Inn Road in Sacramento.
Okay.
Did I not say that?
No, you didn't.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me. We also have a list of our supporters, Snail Squad members. I've done all that work, and we'll announce FNGs and birthdays and everything next Thursday. But I was going to have the assistant here tell me when to stop because I'm hitting the random number generator. So whenever she feels like she wants to tell me to stop, we will get a winner.
Now.
Ooh, number 44. Let's see, scrolling down. Number 44 is David Kurak. David Kurak, congratulations. You won all of the Flex tools, pretty much almost every single power tool that they make. So awesome. And congratulations. Thanks for your support, David.
That's exciting.
Kurak. Yeah.
Good job, dude.
Yeah. The assistant actually wishes I had those power tools. So, okay.
Okay.
Let's move on just a hair because we do have 3 additional interviews. What did you think of Expo this year, babe?
It was hot.
It was hot. Yeah.
Still a lot of fun. We enjoyed walking around and looking. The mini assistant really has fancy trailer dreams.
She really does, doesn't she?
Yeah. So she likes to go around and look at the fancy trailers. Yeah. And so we looked at a lot of those things. We checked out the Earth Roamer.
Yeah. Okay.
It has a washer and dryer and a wine fridge.
I know. How nice is that? Isn't it funny? Because it's just like, that one's probably $1 million or something like that. $800 to $1 million to have that thing. And it's a super fancy.
Yeah. I mean,
rig.
it is beautiful inside, but that's the thing is like, if you're going like off-roading or overlanding or whatever in this thing, it kind of defeats the purpose a little bit if you're bringing like a luxury hotel on your back.
Yeah, but I would feel weird like going out and playing all day and getting dirty and then crawling back up into this luxury
I'd be
hotel.
like, ew, I'd have to hose you off outside and then let you into the beautiful shower that had like a rainfall shower head and it had like a handheld shower head. It has 2 shower heads in the shower. So you can definitely get cleaned off afterward, but I'd have to like hose you off first.
Yeah, you need a pre-wash.
Yeah, pre-wash.
Nice. What did the mini assistant think of that?
She thought it was amazing.
She thought it was
like,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's funny. What other, besides trailers, it did seem like this year trailers was another theme.
I feel like there was a ton of trailers and stuff last year.
I agree. I felt trailers were a big theme. I felt Sprinter vans were a big theme both years.
Yeah.
Last year, I felt that there was more full-size rigs, like, full, like Ford 250s or 20, like, Ford 250s or 350s or 550s, these giant Fords but I felt there was a ton of them last year, not as many of them this year. Did you notice that?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Evie mostly wanted to look at trailers. So that's what I paid attention to both times. And there's an interview coming up today about like probably my favorite trailer that I saw at Expo.
Okay.
It's the one
that was
I really
the one
liked.
you really liked this year?
Yeah. That was my favorite this year.
I went back to this gentleman just because he had a cool name.
The company name was pretty cool too.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that here in a little while. But so without giving too much away, what did you like about the trailer and the interview we had later?
I like the fact that it's small, so I'd still feel like, like I'm camping and not just like sitting in a room.
Okay.
I feel like that's cheating a little bit.
Sure.
I like to actually be outside, but it would be really well. And I like that you could put a rooftop tent on top of it. So we could put the mini assistant upstairs and we could be downstairs in the queen size bed. Yeah.
There was no, like, it's not even, well, let's just go there. It's a teardrop trailer style.
Like but so it's very small teardrop.
Inside is a bed.
Yeah.
There's no
inside.
extra room.
That's it. And then there's a decent size like kitchen setup on the back. The back end pops open and you have your little area for a kitchen. And I would really like that. I think it'd be nice if we went camping and just to have like everything in and like ready to roll. I think it'd be easier setup and take down.
Yeah.
Camping wise.
Agreed. In some camping situations. Like I wouldn't want to, though it'd be fun, I wouldn't really want to drag it through the Rubicon.
No. It can't handle that, but I feel like it could handle.
It would be perfect.
Handle a lot of things.
For Overland Expo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like watching Tyler and the secretary pull up and set up their trailer real quick and be done, and then pull chairs out and start hanging out and drinking with us.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was a nice setup. That was a good.
Yeah.
So, and their awning, the Ironman 4x4 278
that
awning.
saved the day. Otherwise, we would have been little pieces of dried up leather by the end of the trip.
We call that jerky.
Oh, jerky.
Yeah.
Okay. We would have been jerky by the end of the trip.
Yeah. No, for sure. It was hot. It was sunny. Not a lot of cloud cover this year. And people were running from awning to awning or canvas, pop up to pop up just to jump into shades. And it was having that awning on the Tyler's trailer was massive savior. So
the whole, like in the morning, we'd be on one side of it. And then in the evening, we'd be on the other side, just like chasing the shade.
Yeah. And we got a lot of weird looks.
Yes, we did.
And why was that?
Well, because we're on a 9-day road trip right now.
Correct. Yeah.
And so instead of bringing the Tacoma with the rooftop tent that actually does not sleep all three of us, I guess, made the executive decision to take the CRV and the ground tent, the Coleman ground tent. So the 2-wheel drive CRV and the Coleman ground tent, we're holding it down amongst all these like rooftop tents and built rigs. And yeah,
it was kind of funny. We would have had to bring the ground tent anyway.
Yeah, because we wouldn't have all fit.
But I feel like I would have still popped the rooftop tent to look like we fit in a little better.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was kind of funny. A lot of people were walking by and they were like, ground tent? Like, that's weird. And what was even better is we parked right next to another family that had a ground tent.
A RAV4 and a ground tent.
RAV4.
So we banded together and we're like, see, the original overlanding.
Yeah, which also was kind of funny because that they had friends that had an Arctic Fox camper in the back of their truck. And those people were from like the Placerville area. And then the guy that was parked with the Ford truck and the rooftop tent, right, that was closer to Tyler, was from Sacramento.
Yeah. So
we're
it's funny. It's
Sacramento.
Like, oh, where are you from? Oh, everyone's from the same area.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I'm glad we traveled a few hundred miles so we could all hang out together.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it worked out. So would you suggest significant others to go to PNW or any of the expos out there?
Yeah. I'd say like for me, I had enough interest to walk around it for one day. Which was fine because there's plenty of other things to do in downtown Bend and Sun River. So yeah. And then the camping situation, it wasn't, well, I'd say bring your earplugs because planes, trains, and automobiles. It's
so true there.
Yeah.
There's the Redmond airport is just on the other side of the fairgrounds. It seems like the train tracks run between
the freeway and the fairgrounds and then the freeways right there.
It's not too far off.
So after the first night, I went to the store and got a pack of earplugs.
Yeah, where'd you go?
Fred Meyer. It's like an Oregon, Washington thing.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before in my life. You're like, I'm at a Fred Meyer. I'm like,
I hadn't been to one in since I would come up here in high school and visit my friend. I hadn't been in a Fred Meyer since then. So I was excited to go to Fred Meyer again.
And you still were able to get the discount?
Yes. All right. One of the best life hacks Jimmy ever taught me was if you go to a store and you don't have their discount card, you just use 867-5309. And I just put 916 in beforehand because I was like, I don't know. And it's like self-checkout, and like the self-checkout monitor lady was just eyeballing me for taking too long. And it didn't work. And I was like, crap. And then I was like, oh yeah, because no one from the 916 would have a Fred Meyer discount card because there's no Fred Meyers in California.
Right, yeah.
So then I like pulled out my phone and Googled Oregon area code real quick and slapped an Oregon area code in front of 867-5309 and then, saved $9 on my shopping trip.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fred Meyer's, never heard of it in my life, but supposedly it's like a combo of Walmart, Costco, and Target or something like that. Okay.
It sells more things than a Walmart and a Target.
But less things than a Costco.
But not like things in bulk. But they have like furniture and kayaks.
Okay.
Which you can't get at Target or Walmart.
Nice. So one day for the significant others is what you would suggest. And then they can go out and play around. I think that there's there's just a lot. There's so much to see in Expo that you can't do it in it.
No, and a thing that I did discover this time that we didn't do at all last time was classes. And there would be some classes that I would go to. It'd be a way to like learn something and pass the time, like break up the day. Like if you were like, if I was going to do 2 days, I would definitely do more of the classes. And they have classes for kids too. So Mini Assistant took a first aid class for kids.
Outchies and Booboos?
Yeah, which she didn't want to go because it was called Outchies and Booboos. So they need to rebrand it because she's like, that's for babies. And I'm like, think it's just a kid's first aid class. Let's go give it like 5 minutes. If you don't like it, just say you need to go to the bathroom and we'll leave and never come back. And that'll be fine. But no, she liked it. And they had cute patches that the kids could earn. They had like a main patch for going to a class. And then they had these like little side patches that you could earn, and then they velcroed on like the main patch, like around in a circle.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty neat too, and it was a good first aid class, and brought up some things that I was like, oh, need to think about that.
Yeah, you brought that up to me. Not only does the kid know, or should the kid know the home address, but they should probably know the grandparents' address or the caretaker's address.
Yeah. Like wherever their babysitter, caretaker, or grandparent, they need to know that address in case they ever have to call 911. And then off-roading wise, he said to teach your kid how to use the radio well enough to, call for help on it in case the adults are incapacitated. And then when you're not using the radio actively, to just leave it on whatever your local emergency channel is.
So they can hear chatter?
No, just so if they picked it up and called for help, they'd actually be calling.
Got it. So they wouldn't have to futz with the radio.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to futz with the radio because one, they're not going to know how to do that, and two, if dad's passed out or something, clearly.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing, and also the guy was really adamant about putting a tourniquet in your first aid kit.
Yeah, I've mixed feelings on that, but I think that a tourniquet it's definitely a life savings tool.
Yeah,
but it can also be detrimental to whatever you're doing. If you don't know how to do it right, tourniquets could save limbs and arms, but it could also immediately cause a limb and arm to need to be cut off because you did it wrong. So there's a balance.
I feel like I'm going to pass out just thinking about it.
No,
but yeah, he was very adamant about having a tourniquet in your first aid kit.
I think if you're going to have a tourniquet, you should be taking a first aid class to know how to use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, hopefully somebody else out there has a tourniquet and knows how to use them properly. And I don't even really know how to use them properly. I just know that you need to check fingertips or toes, to make sure that there still is some blood flow going to those locations. Sorry. She's turning white over there. We'll move on. So the classes were something we never took or attended or even looked at last year. And for me, I've never really gone to them because I'm always doing networking. That's so on the business side, this is a fantastic opportunity for me to do networking or talking to friends or, start new conversations with companies, where I think if the Mini Assistant and the Assistant had 1 to 2 days of hanging out at Expo, that they could break it up very easily by going to a bunch of these classes. Yeah,
they had like a cooking class for grownups. It was funny, during the middle of Evie's class, it got really loud, and I looked over at another. They had these outdoor tents set up to be the classrooms, and they're like spaced apart. It was also a way to get out of the heat for a little while and rest in the shade, which was very lovely. But there was an adult self-defense class going on. So all of a sudden you just hear people yelling and laughing, and they're just punching these handheld target things.
Dummies.
And so that was kind of funny.
Yeah. So you have the kids trying to learn first aid and people in the other room going, hi-ya.
Yeah, trying to beat each other up. So that was pretty great. Yeah.
Cool. Well, any other tips or tricks for a significant other out there if they get drugged to one of these events?
Bring lots of water and bring snacks and things for the kids.
Yeah. There's usually plenty of food at the ones I've been to. There's been food courts, and PNW has everything around the main area, the grassy area. There was some good food options for kids and for grownups.
But also they weren't sorry, let me check your bag and you can't bring, anything in, because, kids are never in snack magnets. So it was nice to be able to throw some snacks in a bag. And we filled up our water bottles many, many times. I found the cold indoor like filtered water bottle refill thing, and definitely used that a bunch of times.
Yeah, for sure. Sunscreen.
Sunscreen, yeah.
Or a hat. Or maybe, we should just go with the blunt saying of check the weather before you go out to these
Check the weather
things.
before you go. Yeah. And it seems like last year it was really hot too.
It was warm.
Well, the funny thing on our trip, with the exception of yesterday, is every single day on our trip, it's been warmer than it has been in the Sacramento area, which is dumb. It's like, no, we're going PNW road trip.
Yeah.
It's going to be cooler. And then it's like, it's like 90 degrees in Bend. And then I Google it and it's like, it's 79 degrees in Sacramento right now. What the hell? So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's some fun words from the assistant. So thanks for joining me on this intro and sharing your experience and the significant other's experience for going out to an off-road event like this. I think, putting words in your mouth, you're not the most truck enjoyable person. You don't like going to an event that is all like centered around trucks. You do it for me, but you wouldn't ever do it by yourself.
No.
So I think that having an understanding of where the assistant sits and your significant other out there, there are fun things to do for everybody at these events.
Yeah, they're definitely family friendly. And I definitely appreciated they had a quote unquote kid zone and they had like classes for kids. And the vendors were really friendly. Like a lot of them had little like giveaway things for kids and stuff. Yeah, and it was a good time. And I saw like my favorite product that I didn't know I needed, but now I want.
Now you want?
Now I want.
Okay, why don't you tell everybody that? Because we didn't get that interview.
No, unfortunately.
So what is it?
It's a fire pit, like a propane fire pit / Bluetooth speaker. And the propane gets released in time to the music. So the fire like dances in time to the music.
Yep.
And Mini Assistant and I walked around the corner and we saw this and she just started like giggling and laughing. And it was really cool. And we wanted to stand there and watch it longer, but it was like 90 degrees and we're standing by a fire pit. So it was like, that's amazing. Let's take about 8 steps back.
Yeah.
It's hot.
We got a good little video of it. Maybe we'll throw it up on the interwebs sometime of what that looked like. But it was kind of cool. It's one of those, they ran over pretty much. They found me and they came over to me and they're like, we found something that you didn't know you need, but you absolutely want to have. And so we went over there and we checked it out, and they were playing country music at the time. And the assistant here doesn't enjoy country.
No.
And she was like, it was a lot better when they're playing classic rock. And I'm like, I think it's pretty good with this country music. So, but yeah, it's neat. I think it has to do with the bass, the speaker in the bass maybe like limits the propane output. I'm not even 100% sure.
I don't know, but you definitely need to talk to them.
Yeah. All right. I'll throw some Snail Trail 4x4 media at them and see if we can do something for the new house, which is not been worked on in a matter of days because we're not there. Yeah, she's so excited about that too. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thanks for joining me once again, assistant. And we will move over to the first interview with Brian from Goose Gear.
Are you tired of landing in potholes and bouncing off obstacles? To play at your full potential, correctly tuned coilovers allow you to float over the rocks and gain more traction. At 4-Wheel Underground, our full suspension systems include custom-tuned coilovers for your specific application. To learn more, visit 4wheelunderground.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We had a short little break there in between all of our funness out here at Overland Expo 2023 in PNW. We got a really cool guy here who we keep running into all over the place. We're Cruise Moab, Expos. Yep. Where else have we seen?
Yeah, that's really about it, I think.
Just each year.
Expos and Cruise Moab.
Expo.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So we got Brian here from Goose Gear. How you doing, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. It's a toasty day out here, though. So.
Yeah, not too bad. We got really good location. We got a nice breeze that rolls in the whole day. So
I was gonna say, you guys have a breeze here. Once you get down in like the rows over there, it's just dead and stale.
Yeah. It's nice and warm out here in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, cool, man. Tell us a little bit about Goose Gear. I'm sure there's a lot of our listeners probably heard of Goose Gear.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody really knows the depth of everything you guys do. So
Yeah,
give it. What's your elevator speech? What are you telling people out here?
Well, my elevator speech. No, it's so Goose Gear. We focus primarily on the interior of vehicles, right? That's where we spend all of our time, is creating storage solutions for vehicles, whether it be the Land Cruisers, 4Runners, Tacomas, to the Gladiators.
Broncos,
little
here.
tiny Broncos like this one over here with the 40s.
Yeah.
Marco's Overland X Rubicon. So we do a little bit of everything. And we just launched into the Subaru market now, even, and RAV4s and that kind of stuff. So we've had a lot of
CRVs.
CRVs are coming.
Nice. There you go, man.
Believe it or not.
He's making fun of me because I brought a CRV, two-wheel drive CRV to Expo.
Oh, sweet. That's rad. Well, I drove a white panel van to Expo one time, so two-wheel drive. So, yeah, I can relate.
Say free candy on the side.
It's not safe for candy on the side, yeah. But I did pick up a lot of people. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
So, we just focus on storage systems. So our goal is to build different interior systems for different vehicles that really just simplify your camping trip, right? So when you get to camp, the goal of everything we do is simplicity. We want you to open the back of your truck up, your 4Runner, your Tacoma, whatever it is, and just have everything you need for camp right there, instantly accessible, right? Because then you're spending your time camping, enjoying the outdoors. You're not
digging through all your gear to find stuff.
Yes, digging through boxes and bins and crates, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's just I'm the laziest camper you've ever met. I just want to pull in, open up the truck, and start eating something, and sit down and not do anything.
It seems to be a common theme here. I talked to we ran around yesterday just talking to people, networking, socializing, and the common theme seems to be that everybody's extremely lazy. And that's why we've come up with all these really cool products out here. And I'm like, it's not laziness, you guys. It's efficient.
It's efficient.
It's efficient. There's a very fine line between lazy and efficient.
Yes.
But I would say everybody out here is more efficient because they're finding the solutions to the problem rather than just being like, I don't want to figure that out. I'm not going to do it now. Yeah, that's lazy.
Yeah, I would say that's a driving force in this market, right?
Yeah, totally.
For sure. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, we're all very efficient.
So, okay, I'll change it to efficient from now on. I want to be efficient, not lazy.
Yeah. No, you guys do some really nice stuff. You guys, I think you've done a good job at kind of placing yourselves as like the top contender for storage solutions in the Overland market. Everything you guys do is high quality. Immediately, it gives you this, I don't want to say a calming feeling, but like I hate clutter. And so when I look into the back of my own vehicles, a lot of times I'm like, oh, panic attack. But then I look into somebody's vehicle as Goose Gear. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Everything has its own little spot there. Everything's, stored away nicely. So
absolutely.
You guys have done a good job at it.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. We appreciate it.
So how did it all start? Like, did you go out camping and you were upset and you needed some packing solution and you created it for yourself? Or
it's a very long story. I'll give you the ultra short version. Otherwise, we'll be here for 40 minutes. We
can do that in another podcast.
Yeah, right. Another podcast. Yeah. So I wanted to go camping. I wanted to take my daughter out and see the world. So we bought a 4Runner, and I looked on all the forums and I did the research, and everybody had double drawers, side by side drawer. And we owned a cabinet and countertop manufacturing company, so we have CNC machinery. Nice. We build boxes for a living. So we said, you know what, instead of buying something, I'm going to build something. We'll do something out of maple. We built this really cool drawer out of maple plywood. It was really clean, really beautiful. And then we used it for about a month, and I was like, this is the stupidest design I've ever used. And this is what everyone in this industry is building, and I hated it. Yeah. And so that's when we came up with different concepts of, trying to simplify, make it easier, quicker access, especially to fridges and stoves. That's when the camp kitchen was born, and that's really kind of was our key in to get in the market. And, that's kind of how it all got started. So just taking my daughter out camping is really what's
nice.
And so what is the camp kitchen? Can you elaborate on that part?
Camp kitchen is basically, it's a cabinet that we built, and it's basically designed to house your fridge or a cooler. Most people put a fridge in it, obviously, and then it has a slide for your stove. So you have it's a double slide. So your stove slides out, your fridge slides out, and then it's inside of a cabinet. And the beauty of the cabinet is it's a little bit different than a fridge slide, whereas when you open a fridge slide, all of your gear falls behind the fridge when you open it. This prevents that because now your fridge is inside of a box. And so it functions like a drawer. It also protects it from cooling issues. So if your gear falls into the vents on your fridge, it can overheat, then your food goes bad. And this kind of gives it a shielded place to be secure and safe.
Yeah. That's really nice. That's something I never really thought about, because I'm like, you put a fridge in your rig and then you can't put anything on top of it for storage.
No.
Because you need to open it and get into it at times.
Exactly.
And so having it in an actual box that you can then slide out of the box means you now have storage on top of the fridge.
Correct. And that's really what it came down to.
And I'm just running, because we brought a vehicle that I'm not normally using, the CRV, we're running into the issue whenever we have a bunch of stuff out of the CRV right now, but the fridge is still in there. And whenever my wife accelerates, the fridge slides backwards and all this crap falls behind the fridge. Right? And so a cabinet for just the fridge is a very clever idea.
Yeah. Do you guys have other stuff than the camp kitchen? Like what are some of the other... Because I know the nice thing about your guys' stuff is a lot of it can be modular, right?
Yes, absolutely. Everything we do is very modular. So we design everything on the most of the vehicles, the 4Runners, Jeeps, and Tacomas, all that kind of stuff. It's all designed around the plate system. The plate system goes in the back of the vehicle. It gets bolted to the vehicle. 90% of the time, it's bolted to factory points. You don't have to drill holes in almost any vehicle.
Nice.
And once you have that in, then any of our modules will bolt to it. So a camp kitchen, an icebox, our fridge slides, a drawer system, a side-by-side drawer, double drawers, all of those different things. There's literally, we have over 1,000 SKUs that we sell.
Wow, I didn't realize you guys had that many.
It's pretty crazy. And then, that gets you started, right? That gets the crack going a little bit, because then you're like, oh, well, this works really good. What else they have? So then we do seat deletes. We do a ton of seat deletes for Jeeps and Tacomas, and then also for 4Runners. So like if you want to sleep in your 4Runner, we make a system that you can just put in and sleep inside your 4Runner.
Nice.
And not that there's anything wrong with rooftop tents, but let's say it's really, really bad weather and you want to get out. Climbing in your vehicle is pretty sheltered.
It is, yeah.
So, and it's really light and simple. So we sell a lot of seat deletes and sleep low.
Nice. You said an icebox. Do you have like a freezer, or what is the icebox?
So icebox is just the name we call it. It's like it's our baby camp kitchen. So all it is, it's a cabinet that the fridge goes in. It's like imagine a fridge slide that has a box around it to protect the fridge. So we just call it an icebox.
Yeah.
Because that's like the old term for a fridge, back in the day. So. Before thank God. I'm old, but not that old. But yeah, so that's what the icebox is for. It's basically just it's the same as a camp kitchen, but it doesn't have the stove slide.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for somebody to make a drawer system with a drawer fridge in it. Because I know that there's drawer fridges for like kitchens.
Yep.
Or I love drawer fridges in kitchens. I'm like, that needs to be in my vehicle. And so I'm waiting for somebody to make a drawer system with a fridge drawer in it.
It's funny you mention that.
Yeah?
Was this stage? Oh, here's the $20 I owe you. So the Subaru
I'll give you the Venmo,
right? Yeah. The Subaru market. So we actually came out with our new Park Series product line for the Subaru, the all-wheel drive market, right? So the RAV4s, Subaru, Crosstrek, Outback, all that kind of stuff. Even the CRV, right?
Yeah.
You'll be stoked.
I can make my Bronco all-wheel drive.
Yes, you can.
So it's pretty much a Subaru.
It's a Subaru on steroids. So we actually make a cabinet that is designed for the Subaru that takes a Dometic cool drawer third. So it's actually a drawer fridge, and we're actually designing it that it bolts directly into the cabinet.
Okay.
Because that's a cabinet that's designed for like RV manufacturers where they have to make a space for it. It has to be mounted. We're making a cabinet that houses that drops in the back of your Subaru, which is like
sweet.
The perfect combination because it's a smaller unit. It's lighter. It's not a big bulky fridge because you're limited on space in the Subarus and that stuff. So that actually will be coming out here in probably the next 30 to 60 days.
Okay.
And then you'll actually have a cool drawer fridge, just like you were asking for.
There we go. That's awesome. I need to get one for the 4Runner now. I'll find a way to make it fit.
Yeah. So awesome.
Is there any additional parts or things that are coming out that you want to hint at?
Oh, let's see. So yeah, we have a camp kitchen solo, which we just launched at Expo West, and we showed it just briefly to a few people. And it's basically a camp kitchen, but it doesn't have the cabinet around it. So we've had a lot of people, like in the Bronco Raptor, for example, there's not enough height because of the extra roll bar bracing that you can't put a camp kitchen in. So it's basically the same thing as a camp kitchen, but without the cabinet.
Okay.
So it's like a fridge slide with a stove slide built into it.
Okay.
And so it's really compact. It's about a 50-50 aluminum to steel, so we try to keep as much weight out as possible. And that's something that just came out and is a really great option for people that don't want the entire box.
Okay.
Gotcha. Nice. Or people who are limited on
access to space. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like in the back, you can actually put it in the back seat of a Tacoma on a 60% seat delete. And have a camp kitchen completely slide out the side of your Tacoma truck.
That's
so you pretty much just turn it into a Rivian then at that point.
Yes, it's just like a Rivian. Yeah, exactly. 100%. It doesn't have the range. Oh wait, maybe it is. Yeah, that's funny.
That's cool, man. Awesome stuff. I didn't realize you had 1,000 SKUs. That's impressive.
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000 SKUs.
Over 1,000.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Impressive.
Where can people find more information about Goose Gear if they want to go look at some of the products you got and see if there's something there that they want?
You can find us at goose-gear.com, and we have basically almost 200 dealers across the U.S. that distribute our product, and some international dealers opening up now.
Sweet.
So, yeah, got good coverage there.
on that.
And, of course, you can see us on Instagram and all that stuff at Goose Gear.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Brian.
Really appreciate it. Good to see you guys again.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks.
Alrighty, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Brian from Goose Gear. It's always fun to hang out with him and see what new products he's coming out with and his fantastic storage. The next interview we have coming up are some friends of mine. They're Mac and Owen from Bound From Nowhere. I did slaughter Instagram handle when I was interviewing them. Just one of those, drawing a blank in the moment scenario. So I do apologize. But they're good friends. We've known each other for many, many moons. From some friends of mine, Hawk and Ken, my friends in the van life, introduced me to them because they have a van in the day. And then they ended up getting Toyotas, and then they ended up getting a Sunraider, and then they ended up getting, I think a Tacoma, and then a Tundra, and now they have a brand new 2023 Tundra, and it looks fantastic. So we talk about their evolution of life and where they have been going, and some places they've been, possible future international travels that they're going on. So I hope you enjoy the interview with them, and make sure to follow and listen along with everything they're doing, and we'll put all those links down in below. So enjoy. Well, welcome back, everybody. We got some friends of mine here sitting with us today, and Tyler.
You're our friend too, don't worry.
Well, I'm laying down.
You're
I'm
not
lounging.
sitting. We got Mac and Owen from the Instagram bound for, shit, I've lost it. Bound for Nowhere. Did I get it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Nailed it. It's been a long day.
It has been a long day. You guys used to have a Tundra.
We did.
Yes.
And guess
now,
what? We still have a Tundra.
Now you got a new Tundra. And we definitely want to talk about that here in a second. But
Absolutely.
why don't you guys say hi to everybody and give them a little quick spiel about who you guys are and what you guys do.
Hi, I'm Mac.
And I'm Owen.
And we are Bound for Nowhere. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, the internet. If you just Google Bound for Nowhere, I'm sure something of ours will come up. But we have been traveling full-time for the last 7.5 years. We've covered just about all of North America and are gearing up for full-time international travel. We're not entirely sure what that looks like yet, but we are leaving. I mark my words, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just not sure where you're going.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're pretty sure we're gonna do the Pan Am in reverse, so ship down, drive back, which is a little bit different than the normal way.
Most
but
people just drive down and ship back.
Yeah, most
Okay.
people drive down, ship back. We have a couple reasons for that, but that's kind of what we're thinking now. But we are very fly by the seat of our pants kind of operation.
We like to keep things open.
Yeah.
We're relatively spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah, we make our biggest life decisions at the drop of a hat. So
As they're happening.
as they're happening,
Yeah.
you know what? When the heart knows, the heart knows.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a chance to talk before, but it was online, so it's fun to do it in person
Yeah.
and catch back up. For the listeners that didn't listen to the Snail Trail Shop Talk, you guys started in a van.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, we did.
Very much so.
Yeah,
back in
we
the day.
started in a 1985 Volkswagen van again. Actually, before that, we were in a 2004 Honda Element with a tent for months.
Whoa, okay.
Nice.
And then
Yeah.
the van again. That's what got us on the road full time.
Yeah, from the Vanagon, we bought a 1985 Toyota Sunraider. That was a 4x4, which was pretty rare. We
Yep.
spent a lot of time gutting and remodeling that.
Precisely 9 months.
Decided it wasn't working, so and sold
Nope.
it. And then we got a Toyota Tacoma to bide our time while we were waiting for our first Tundra and a 4-wheel camper. And then
And now we've done effectively the exact same thing again. But I promise there are differences.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you want to? We're sitting next to the truck right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to run through everything you guys have been doing the year of the truck?
yeah, sure. So it's the new Tundra, but the big differences, other than the new Tundra, is that the flatbed is a slightly different model. So now we have more storage and extra water.
Nice.
It has a great pull-out drawer that comes out of the back of the flatbed.
Oh, okay.
So we're able to store a ton of gear in there that used to live in our cab.
Right, and it also, the braces for this flatbed also make it sit up a little higher, so we have a little bit of room for the rear axle to move and flex a little bit more.
Yeah, we didn't have a ton of flex space for our rear axle, so we're happy to have that.
Yeah, and then inside the camper, camper, it's a lot of the same stuff. There's a lot of subtle changes, though, and a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with power and power management that we've never had before.
Yeah, so we have the new Red Vision system that was fully like redesigned, the whole power system in this truck. So we went from having 200 amp hours of power, and we work full time on the road, so power is
It's
crucial.
important to have, yeah.
Yeah, so now we have 405 amp hours, and we've got this incredible management system behind it. And our whole system before was retrofitted ourselves in my parents' driveway. So it's nice to have an incredibly, not that we did a bad job. I think we did a great job.
It still works.
It still worked.
yeah.
Great. But we're going from like a 300 watt inverter, 300 watts to 1500. So
Nice.
now we can start making dinner with our rice cooker
Yep.
while finishing work with the Starlink.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. So,
And
yeah,
you can
so
run
that's
a
like one of-
blender.
That was like one of the biggest things was
Yeah.
we couldn't start because like we're an Asian household, so we make a lot of rice, and we have a rice cooker, and we couldn't start dinner until work was done, and it was so
Gotcha.
frustrating because it would just short our whole system.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like a lot has changed in
Yeah.
the 4.5 years since the last camper. So when I built that system, we got the 300 watt inverter because the only thing we were using it for was charging our laptops, which it
yeah.
was great for. But then Starlink came around.
Yeah.
Then we decided to get a rice cooker. So
And we have a food processor now.
yeah, so like we just could not run two of those things at once. We had to pick our priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, who helped with the build and how
Oh my
did you
gosh,
get going?
so many people helped with this build. We're so lucky. So Dobinson's was a big supporter. Our entire suspension is Dobinson's, and I've truly never owned a car that rides as beautifully as this one does.
Nice.
Power Brakes has helped us out with some Power Brakes. Obviously, we're a big
Cool.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Lots of steep hills in South America, so now
Yeah.
we've got some great brakes. Evo Course, Toyo tires, Norweld, four-wheel campers, and Mainline Overland built the whole thing, and they did just incredible job.
They killed it. It's a gorgeous machine right here.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that they had it for 2 weeks, and we got to go in every day,
single day.
and just get a behind-the-scenes look and watch the whole process come together. And those guys are just like, it's mind-blowing to watch them work.
It was like
Yeah.
watching a ballet. Seriously, there was 4 men working on our truck at once. No one had to talk, swearing. No one cut themselves. It was beautiful, and it clearly doesn't look like what it looks like for us when we're working on our own rig. So it was really quite a treat. I mean, obviously, it's very intimidating to take a new vehicle to be torn limb for limb and be put back together. But the amount of confidence that we had in that, after like watching them for a couple days, we're in the best. So feels good to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, is there typically swearing and cussing and
For us, yes.
yeah, some blood drawn? and
YouTube videos need to be watched.
Yeah. There's a lot of arguing.
I mean, it's just like conflicts of
Yeah. I mean,
We
'cause-
go about things very differently. Owen likes the cookbook. I like to cook
Just
on
do it.
vibes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I feel like by nature, working together in that way is a little challenging.
Does your trip planning kind of go the same way too?
No, actually,
or?
Owen is entirely our trip planner.
Okay.
You guys, I show up to these places. I'm like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what this place is going to look like. But he does such a great job. I don't ever worry about
Yeah.
that. I mean,
But how
you
do
know
you?
what I like at this
What do
rate.
you do to research those? How do
So
you?
it's really interesting. I mean, maybe it's not, but I like to do a lot of like broad strokes when I'm doing the trip planning, and then kind of fill in the details as we go.
Okay.
Because like most of the time we find all these great recommendations from locals. We really like
Yeah.
to try and leave as much time for spontaneity as possible, just to like really dive in deep and gets like more than just a surface level experience of places. And so that's part of why we travel as slow as we do, is just because we really like to dive in,
You gotta
see
leave
as much as
time
we
for
can.
those kinds of experiences to unfold, and all of those more spontaneous moments are favorite on the road. They lead us to the best people, the
Yep.
best
Yeah.
food, the coolest places. So yeah, we move exceedingly slow. So after 4.5 years in our last truck, we're selling it with 80,000. And we went to
That's it?
we
Wow.
went to
Wow.
Alaska in
In
that
Mexico.
Mexico. Yeah, so
All the
like
way across.
truly we move
Yeah. And it also opens us up to have like these experiences with people, because the travel is often about places, but it's also about the people. And we find that the people often make the experiences all that much better. And having the time to like meet those people is crucial to having those like really, what is it, La La Land type experiences.
Yeah, that's La La Land.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, that's cool. How's the show been out here for you guys so far?
Oh, it's been overwhelming.
Overwhelming?
Yeah, it's been overwhelming. I mean, it's always wonderful because, you know, as people who make videos and photos that are consumed by others, I don't even know how to talk about what I do clearly. But it's just like you feel like you're shouting into a void. We spend so much time alone, which I think is why these kinds of experiences are super overwhelming for us.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of wild to see how many incredible people are on the receiving end of what we do and what they're getting out of it. It really makes it feel like the hard work, the blood, the sweat, and that we put into our work. It brings so much more meaning to it.
Yeah.
So it's really rewarding and exhausting to come here.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys experience this too, where it's just like, it's not just those people, but it's also people that in the industry and like friends that are traveling full time and all those
These
other
always
things.
feel like a family.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It kind of does. We were talking about that earlier with somebody, how the event is more like, just getting around to see people that we only get to see once a year, twice a year at these events. So
Exactly.
It's fun.
It's
yeah.
so hard to, like we're often ships passing in the night, with all these people. And so it's just nice to like have this dedicated moment to get to hang out and catch up with all these people.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it when people come up and they know your entire life story and you don't even know their name? Because I know I've had that happen on my end. but-
Honestly, I kind of like it because it feels like the pressure's off. Like now it's just my turn to fill in the gaps. Like okay, I get to ask all the questions, and I'm really, really good at asking questions. So, I mean, to me, it's totally fine. I really love it when people recognize us out in the real world too, because it feels like we have friends everywhere. And then I'm like, wait a minute, are you from here? Where's your favorite restaurant? Where's your favorite swimming hole? So, like, honestly, it's an in.
Yeah.
It's just you get good friends, you get good details.
So it's all selfish reasons, really.
Truly. No, it's incredibly rewarding. It makes it feel like I often talk about our travels, particularly when relating to our family. It feels like what we do is very selfish. We spend so much time for things that we love, but truly it makes it feel like it is less selfish. See how many people are getting something out of it, and to know that people are going out into the world because we have shown them what's out there. I mean, there's truly nothing than that.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to follow along with you guys because you do show a lot of what's going on out there in different places of the world that I've never been to and other people haven't been to. And it's, I can almost be traveling with you, along with you as you are going around to these really cool
awesome.
spots.
It's so fun to know that we have so many people along for the ride with us. So it's the wind beneath our sails, as they say.
People are going to get to do that Pan Am via proxy with you guys. So.
Yeah. Come one, come all.
Yeah, and it's always our goal to like try and find something different, and the Pan Am not necessarily different, but like last summer we went and did the Northern Midwest, and like everyone out there is doing the West Coast, everyone's doing like the Rocky Mountains, so it just felt like let's try something different and like see what's out there. And it was super rewarding to go someplace totally different, meet a whole different culture of people within our country, and see some places that aren't just like totally blown out.
Special.
Like Alabama.
We spent a lot of time in Alabama.
The climbing is incredible in
really?
Alabama. And actually, ready for this? Hot fact about Alabama. It is one of the most, I believe it has more ecosystems per square mile than any other state, because it changes. It's the foothill of the Appalachian Mountains in the north, and then it goes all the way down to the Gulf in
like
south.
swamplands.
Wow.
Swampland. So it has like all of these different ecosystems.
Interesting.
And I do believe it has and Alabama's very proud of it. I read that at the state capitol.
Okay.
Yeah, we
got some
actually,
good
before
soul
we
food.
hit the road, we were living in Atlanta. So like we have a lot of experience in the Southeast because of that.
Yeah, we know the Southeast pretty well.
That's cool.
So besides Alabama, I was going to ask, where would be a spot that people should be looking at
Best kept
traveling?
secret, Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
I would
That was
say
fast.
I would say Newfoundland. Newfoundland for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
That's a fun
I would
spot.
say outside of the country, Newfoundland, and inside of the country.
Why
Yeah.
Michigan?
Michigan should be known for its white sand beaches with crystal clear water.
Really?
Places that, if somebody took you there blindfolded, you would think it was Hawaii.
My
But-
sister lives in Michigan, and
Yeah.
she's never told me any of this.
Yes. Well, she's
She's keeping
trying
the
to keep
secret.
the secret.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that people I've met so many incredible people. I'm telling you, rad people come from Michigan. But the food is amazing, and there's a ton of like organic produce that comes out of that area. The water, the Great Lakes are just chef's kiss. They're so beautiful. The water is so beautiful, dense forest, white is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shipwrecks that you can dive in water.
That would be cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys,
I didn't even think about all the shipwrecks in the Great Lakes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
a very tumultuous
Uh-huh.
lake, body
Yeah.
of water for sure.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely a surreal experience to be out on those beaches and you don't see the edge.
Yeah.
Of so it just looks like an ocean and you hop in and it's fresh water.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I've-
confusing and delightful all at the
I've
same
been
time.
to a Great Lake or two, and you just are like, wait, this is a lake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like an ocean.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see, like, it goes as far as I can see to the right,
Yeah.
as far as I can see to the left.
Yeah, I
can't see
strongly
across
recommend
it.
the Great Lakes coastline up to the north. Like the whole region
Yeah.
is wonderful.
And I think Lake Superior is the largest lake in the world by surface area. So it is like
wow.
it is a massive parcel.
Jeez.
That's incredible.
yeah.
Bigger than Lake Titicaca?
yeah,
It is.
as it turns out.
Yeah.
But Titicaca is the largest or the highest
Highest.
elevation
Yeah.
navigable lake.
The commercially traveled lake or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like
something
that.
like
yeah.
that.
You guys, I
Yeah.
love these nerdy details.
Yeah.
But we've both been there. So.
Yes.
Yeah, too fun. Okay, well, do you have any tips for travelers? And then I think we'll just close out with how
Yeah,
can
go
people
with
follow
what you have.
Yeah.
What you have
Okay.
right now is what you need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else?
You don't need anything fancy, anything crazy, anything too built. That is stuff that you can learn over time. We are now on our like 6th or 7th rig of like all of our travels. And the thing is, it's an evolution. Go out there and figure out what you do and do not
Yeah.
need. But I just think it's more important. People wait until it's perfect or it looks a certain way.
Yeah,
And it's just more important to go out there and have the.
totally.
Yeah.
I think
What
that's
about,
smart.
Yeah, what
There-
about you?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I would tell people is just to go ahead and get out there with what you have because if you wait around for it to be perfect, you're never going to go.
I think there's a lot of people that look at, a 4-wheel camper on a brand new Tundra and all this other stuff that you guys have, and they're like, man, I can't go out and do it until I have all that.
No, you don't.
And that's totally not true. That's what I
Yo,
love
we had
about
an
this
element
industry. So.
and a
I know,
10.
right?
We slept in the back of a Tacoma for 9 months, all the way up into the Arctic Circle in Labrador.
Wow.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Go with what you got.
Jimmy's overlanding in a 2-wheel drive CRV and a great
Perfect.
tent.
And a ground
right
tent
now.
this time.
Yeah.
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 He's bringing that up every time you get.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If it moves, it works.
It works.
Yeah.
All right,
Exactly.
I got one more for
Okay,
you.
okay.
Are you guys doing any swimming?
Any swimming?
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
Have you?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we actually swim. So we're here in Bend.
Yeah.
They have a great aquatic center.
Okay.
They have an Olympic swimming pool. We went and swam some laps.
Yeah.
Still got it. We swam in the fast lane, guys. Swam in the fast lane. Got a couple miles in.
Yeah.
And,
Dang.
Yeah. I actually ordered a new training today.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're still we're. If you didn't know, we're ex-collegiate swimmers. We met on the swim team in
Gotcha.
college.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
It was love at first speedo. So yeah.
That's cool.
Too cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you guys tell everybody where they can find you so I don't butcher your Instagram again?
Oh my god. You're fine. Okay. We are Bound for Nowhere on Instagram, YouTube, our website, all of the things, I believe. Our most recent series is called A Long Time Coming, and it focuses on exploring the Northern Midwest and what happens when things don't go according to plan and what it is like, what you get out of a trip like that.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, keep a watch out for, we have a build series because we did film the entire process of putting this new
Nice.
truck together. And then we also filmed a series in Baja, Mexico. So we're going to hopefully any day now, I will start writing that.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you guys got a lot coming out and a lot of work ahead of you, so it's exciting to
Send editors.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're an editor and you want some work,
Yeah, please
reach out.
to me. hello@boundfornowhere.com. Thank you.
Nice. Well, awesome. Thanks, you guys, for
Thank you so
taking
much.
the time and letting us come over and use your shade and chat
Oh,
with you for a bit. So.
My shade is yours.
I love you guys.
Okay, love you too, boo.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
All right. And the final interview is Jonathan from Oregon Trailer. And it was my favorite trailer that I saw on Expo. And it's the one that I would want to get. So I hope you enjoy hearing more from him.
Did we get this episode?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. I also really enjoyed the
Yeah.
Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
So we do talk about how he got his episode.
His shirt was pretty cool too.
Yeah, he was just an all around great guy.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah, it was
Nice
he was
guy,
pretty
nice
cool.
product.
And something fun about him, I'm not sure if we talked about it, I didn't recall, but Donut Media was taking their trailers away from Expo and was dragging it. So he's going to be one of those guys that's going to blow up, I think, because he's got a cool product, simple, nice, and a cool product all around for style trailer. Any last words there, assist?
Nope, it was cool looking, and I want one.
I'll work on that. All right, I hope you guys enjoy this episode.
Welcome back, everybody. We're out here, Overland Expo, with another, I think, going to be a fun interview, especially if any part of the conversation we just had off air is going to be an indicator of what's going to come on air here. We have John here, Jonathan. John, you guys can call him Jay, I guess. He goes by anything.
I respond to whatever's directed at
me. You do a really, really clever trailer here, camping trailer. It's called Oregon Trail R.
Yeah, apostrophe R.
R. Is it part pirate or?
It's a short and not that great story, but I'll tell it anyway.
Yeah, we love stories.
Back at the beginning when we were kind of hyping or thinking about doing, we had to come up with a name. Clearly, you have to register something. And I was on the way back from our parents' house down in Southern Oregon, and we were in Grants Pass, and there was some kind of sign or billboard or something that said something about the Oregon Trail.
Okay.
And I just, in my mind, flashed on, that could just be apostrophe R. And that,
yeah.
Or the Oregon Trail, it's Trail R, it's everything I need. So
yeah, the Oregon trailer.
Happened and never questioned it and went forward.
Yeah, that's cool. Jimmy brought me over here. He got to take a look at these earlier. I was admittedly distracted by chatting with some people over across the aisle from me here. But he brought me back, and I'm glad he did. There's some really clever things you have going. A lot of really clever things going on that you have going on with these trailers. Jimmy and I both have lasers, and you do a lot of the work is either laser or CNC cut on these trailers out of Baltic birch.
Correct. Yeah, most of the trailer is Baltic birch.
Yeah, and it's really cleverly put together. It's really interesting design features of how stuff fits together. The latches and hardware that are used on everything are really nice.
Thank you.
They work great. You've got, what were those buttons called? The trans, for the lights up here in the kitchen area.
Touch capacitive.
Touch capacitive buttons here for the lights in the trailers and everything. The suspension is a great off-roading suspension. You have some really neat designs for keeping things tucked up underneath from getting beat up off-road.
Right.
What made you get into these? Like, what made you figure out how to put all this stuff together with tab and slot designs, puzzle piece designs? How'd you get into all this?
Well, I mean, the real story starts when we were little kids, and my parents had a 1946 Cub Modernistic teardrop trailer, and that's how we learned to camp.
Okay.
For the bulk of my youth, I thought that's just how people camp, right?
Were you camping or were you overlanding?
Well, I mean, back then we called it, let's go out in the woods.
Yeah.
I don't know. All of it, I guess.
Yeah.
My dad had a Jeep. It was really, I think it was all 6. It was a CJ.
Wow.
No back seats.
Yeah.
No seat belts. We all, 5 of us would file into that thing and go do stupid stuff out. And sometimes they'd tow the teardrop when we'd stay and camp. And it was really fun.
Yeah.
And that left kind of, I guess, an indelible mark on our brains. And so after each of us was going to college and starting our families, it just became obvious for some reason that we needed to do that with teardrop camp. And having been, recently graduated and not making tons of money, it was like, well, anything I can afford isn't going to be something I want. I'm going to have to make it, which isn't new to it. We're both kind of lifelong builders of things, and we attribute that almost exclusively a tinkerer extraordinaire. And we kind of grew up in his shop. He has all the tools and lots of stuff to break, and we tried doing that, and eventually broke less stuff and made more stuff. And
that's how I treat Jimmy's shop.
Yeah,
see how many tools I can break.
There's truth to that.
That's cool. So you say we. Who's we?
My brother Sawyer is my business partner in this.
Okay.
We're a small shop. There's 5 guys total, but him and I started it, and we started it with day jobs and with nights and weekends and that, the classic story. And
wherever you can fit in the time is where you end up putting it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The only way it worked at all is that we knew for the first several years there was no money. It was not a thing. You just don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And so if you can, outlast that pain, eventually you can go into hire people and make.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us a brief description of what a teardrop trailer is
Sure.
for somebody that might not know?
Yeah. Well, okay. So they're first introduced in the 1930s, and a lot of it had to do with aluminum availability. So there's a lot of airplanes and materials for airplanes being made, and a lot of excess stock. And so people were figuring out things to do with it. And there was also recently cars available. And so these little cars couldn't, there was no fifth wheel. In the beginning, it was like, what can we do with this? And this format worked. And so they were making aluminum trailers like that 1946 Cub Modernistic with.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of the starting point, and they were very hot for a couple of decades. 30s, 40s, 50s, there's a real thing. Brands emerging, like now. And then they were gone for decades. Bigger rigs, more power, larger, big Airstreams and things, and that became very popular, and teardrops subsided, and now they're back. And a lot of that has to do, one, with fuel efficiency and smaller cars and all that kind of stuff, but also like people wanting to go camping, legitimate camping feeling where you spend time outside, but you have a little place to sleep. And so they didn't have to reinvent the wheel. It existed. It's there. You just have to do it again.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So is the teardrop theme is so the trailer sort of looks like a water droplet or something along those lines.
Yeah. I don't know like the etymology of the word exactly, other than the shape is aerodynamically sound and makes sense to do. And I think that it was probably like a name follows form follows function.
Okay.
Yeah. If I had to guess.
Do all teardrop trailers open in the rear?
Well, really, that's a controversial part. We say no because we make some that don't. But call it what you want. It's a place to sleep, and some of them you can cook too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, especially right now, there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of good ways of skinning a cat. There's I think there
are a lot of good ways to skin a cat. That should be a T-shirt. There's a T-shirt right there.
There's something in that. Yeah. And we're one of those ways. We kind of, I don't know if I want to say pride ourselves or whatever, but we tend to try and think in first principles. It's like, one, we do have a historical footing in this, and that we've used them since we were little, and that does for us mean something.
Yeah.
But also, as we use things, we make them better.
Yep.
And you'll run into like, boy, this is great, but it would sure be better if it did this instead. And so the next time you do it, and it just eventually it turns into
keeps evolving
as
things go on,
sharpening the knife, and eventually it'll cut stuff.
Yeah. That's really cool. So one of the things that I kind of mentioned it, but I think is really unique about your guys' trailers is that a lot of it is a wood finish stuff.
Right.
Which is, it's so, I don't want to say homey is the right word.
Well, it's comfortable. It's cozy.
That's a great, yeah. There's a ton of trailers out here at Overland Expo that have ABS finish or fiberglass finish, and they feel they're fancy, they're kind of bougie looking, but they don't make you feel like you're outdoors, and enjoying the outdoor landscape kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that was the big first ththing that I love, is that it just feels more outdoorsy.
Yeah, we're trying to kind of get both worlds. Like on the outside, we're trying to make them very rugged and appear that way too, and kind of fit that bill. But on the inside, I like things that are warm and comfortable and make you feel that way. And that it's just the way that we figured out to do it.
Nice. I like it. I like them a lot. There's a lot of really clever stuff going here. Do you guys have a website that people can check things out?
OregonTrailer.net. Yeah.
And is that Oregon Trail R or Trail ER?
Common spelling. The internet doesn't like apostrophes.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So people can go check those out. You said you have 5 different models of trailers now?
Yeah.
Go run us through the model lineup here.
Sure. So starting with basically the Dewdrop Standard, and right now the base model of that starts at $8,500.
Okay. That's really a phenomenal price.
Yeah. It's very simple, and which is why that's possible.
Yeah.
And also,
is that the one, the black one over here that we were looking at?
It's that trailer, but without the off-road kit.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
it's basically the same body on a smaller, lighter chassis with simpler suspension, smaller, lighter tires, aluminum cladding that's been powder coated instead of the spray-on finish that we're doing.
Yep.
And all of that makes it light. It can be down to 550 pounds.
Wow.
Up
That's
to about
dang.
800 if you put everything at it.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So it's anything that can tow that trailer.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Your Prius could tow that out there somewhere.
I don't know a Prius.
Your two-wheel
I don't know why
drive.
you're looking at me.
Your two-wheel drive CRV could tow that out
The
there.
two-wheel drive CRV, if it had a hitch, could pull that.
No, that is a phenomenal. Immediately, we walked over there to check that out, and I was like, "This is awesome." If I was going out by myself, this is what I would take. This is exactly what I would want.
Yeah.
Out here, if I was going out somewhere by myself.
We saw a hole in the industry in that everyone's aiming for more stuff, more complex, and you make it bigger along the way. And there's something to that. That's the right thing for some people.
Yep.
But it's not the right thing for some people also.
Yeah.
And being a very small company, we can utilize a very small niche of people.
Yeah.
And live there comfortably. So we have a lot of dewdrop standards with like single oldens. It's just easy. Anyone can pull it by hand. If it's flat and relatively hard, you can tow it by hand.
Yeah.
It's approachable. You know, someone can deattach it and roll it into their garage by pushing. And so that's a thing for some people, and it sells a lot of trailers because it's not there in the other part of the industry.
Well, eliminates reversing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a big deal. A lot of people are afraid of that.
I think that's the number one fear for trailers.
Yeah.
It's like,
very much is.
I'm going to have to back this up eventually.
Yeah. And it's not native hardware, software for anybody. Everyone does it wrong a lot. But you get a feel for it, you know. And these are particularly, well, okay. The real story is the shorter a trailer is, the quicker it reacts.
Yes.
So as you're making adjustments, you're going to have to, you know, act quickly and not go too fast.
Yeah.
Part of that is the triangle that is made between the wheels and the coupler.
Yep.
So on our trailers, because we intentionally keep them as small as possible, we can make that triangle have a very long leg on it, which makes it more planted and more stable. So it slows things down for reverse as best as possible inside of a still small trailer. So it's still quick, slower than it would be if we put the wheel up in the normal spot.
Interesting.
So by long leg, are you talking about from the coupler to the axle or the width of the axle?
Coupler to the
wheel.
axle is the main thing. Right. So from the coupler pivot moment where it attaches to the car to the line created between the two wheels.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That's
So you've
an important
moved the
dynamic.
axle back
Backwards.
almost as far as you can.
As far as we can. And it makes a relatively heavy tongue weight for the size and weight of the trailer, but it's still light because the trailer's small and light.
Yeah.
And so we actually use it to our advantage.
Yeah.
People don't oftentimes understand that too light is bad too.
Yes.
Right. And you end up with weird dynamics in towing, and you can load it badly and all of a sudden be in a really dangerous position.
Yeah.
So the way our trailers are set up, it's nearly impossible to load it bad enough that it'll handle that.
Clever. Like more clever stuff. Yeah.
They can tow higher speed than you ought to go. Very planted, and don't ask me how I know that.
Nice.
Different rules here in Oregon.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, so move us up the line. So we have the basic one.
So starting at the
standard package.
bottom, Dewdrop standard, $8,500, 550 pounds, and configurable. Next is Dewdrop Alpha. It's the same body, but off-road ruggedized. So it's on a different chassis. That's the one you saw over there, the black one over there.
Okay.
There are other colors available, but the standard is black. And so it has a ruggedized chassis with, we use timber and axle-less suspension.
Yep, those are nice.
That one being a very light trailer, 1,200 pounds, the one we were looking at. We use their 2,200-pound longest throw version, which works beautifully with it. What we found with the timber product is it's great, but you overspec. Whatever the number says, you want to go bigger.
Go above it. Okay.
You want to go bigger.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, you know, our trailers, these larger ones that were next to the TerraDrop Alpha, Frontier Alpha, they have 5,200-pound rated hardware with D-rated 3,500.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Was
what we
that just
found,
a trial and error scenario?
yeah,
there?
basically when you end up going through bushings and springs faster than you want to, then you make adjustments.
Yep.
Okay.
Go with some bigger stuff.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving us up to,
So we
I
got-
guess, the ruggedized one. Sorry.
Well, there's one step in the middle. So we went Dewdrop Alpha,
Yes.
and then there's Frontier. So Frontier is the first one we entered into the market. It's our initial offering into the teardrop place, and it's a classic airfoil wing, airplane wing shape, just like this shape actually, but with aluminum cladding and torsion suspension.
Okay.
simple frame and on all the regular teardrop stuff. That's where we started, and almost all of our clientele for the first several years was newly retired couples who remember these things for being cool when they were kids. That's everything for
nostalgia and wanting to get back out there. I love it. Okay,
huge part of our market, almost all of it.
So I would consider the one that we pointed at as a traditional teardrop shape.
It is, and the Frontier Standard is the same. This is the Frontier Alpha, so it's the same airplane wing shape as the other one. And this exists because the people like the Frontier shape, but now especially people also like to take them out in the backwoods.
So it's the Frontier, but it's more it's the street version.
Right, exactly. And that's where we started with the business and lived there for years. And then as we kind of our interests shifted personally, and we both all wanted to go out and get away from people and
everything,
get into trouble and have fun. We needed to make trailers that would purpose, and we started with Terradrop. This is Terradrop Alpha, but we started with Terradrop, which would be like this shape, but with aluminum cladding and more traditional exterior siding in a lot of trailers around.
And so this shape, though, it's a teardrop, but then it has angular back.
Some people might call it like a square drop or something along that line. I still just call it a teardrop, but it has sort of a fastback Humvee aesthetic on the back. And some of those flat lines, what that does is it opens up the volume inside of it. These two trailers, the Frontier Alpha and the Terradrop Alpha, and for that matter, the Terradrop and the Frontier, all have the exact same outer envelope of size. So it's 5 feet wide in the body, 8 feet long in the main body segment, 4 feet tall, and they're all the same. But because that one's all curves, that like peak height is only one moment. Whereas with the flat, that extends out. And what that does is allow me a little more flexibility of layouts. I can move the cabinet face out, get a little more depth of cabinet for storage, a little more, not headroom exactly, but volume of air in the space. Not that you're standing up in either one. So the functional difference is not that big. It's mostly aesthetic. And it was driven by aesthetics. That trailer is almost the same thing as this trailer. It's just people wanted it that shape too.
Gotcha. Yeah. People like the traditional.
There are people that have this idea of a teardrop trailer in their mind, and this doesn't talk to them. But that one does.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, that's neat. So you have those guys. What's the price range? It's starting at $8,500 for the Dewdrop Standard.
Correct. Ranging to about 15, 18 maybe.
For the Dewdrop?
For the Dewdrop Standard.
Okay. Once we get into like on the high end, you're I'm assuming the Frontier Alpha. Oh, what are we looking at for those guys?
Terradrop Alpha and Frontier Alpha are the same price because they're basically So they both start at $24,000 for the base model. And then we have a couple of different packages. There's like base, standard, deluxe, and then custom. Most of our stuff is in custom because that's kind of how we developed and what people come to us for. And in what that really means is semi-custom. We have our options that we offer, but you can grab them a la carte and use them as so you don't have to have the sink to have the stove, basically.
That's a phenomenal price. Like there's a lot of trailers we've been kind of looking at around here around the showgrounds and asking people like, what do they start at? There was, what was that one? 67,000?
Yeah.
67,000, the one that we were looking at earlier. There was another one.
Back.
Yeah, the open back. There's another one I was looking at that started at 65. There's another one we're looking at that started at 70. And I'm just like, oh my God! Like these are more than the vehicles I'm going to be using to tow them with. Like these are crazy.
Yeah, it is tough right now for materials.
Yeah,
you
true.
Know, like every time you order, it's more money, and it's hard to get in front of. And we book out, so like we've always had a lead time. Right now it's a little under a year, which is actually great for us. It's been up to 2 years.
Oh wow!
And which is uncomfortable because we know that when we order the parts for those trailers, they're going to cost us more than we think they do now.
Yeah.
And so it's actually better for us to keep it a little bit closer in, even though it's a self-terminating kind of success because the more people want them, the longer the lead time goes up to a point. Once you get to 2 years, I found that's
people are
kind
like,
of a hard
I don't want to
no.
wait anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I don't even know if I'll be alive then. It's legitimate. I get it, so it's one of those things that you run into, but is part.
That's rad, man. Cool stuff. Awesome designs. I love the thought process that goes into everything that we're seeing here. You guys are located in Oregon, out of Eugene, you said?
Correct.
Cool. So if anybody wants to, I assume, do you guys deliver? Do they ship? What do people come up and get them?
Come pick them up, even long distance.
Yeah.
A lot of times, what it is like the shakedown trip on the way home.
I was gonna say, you get to take it home and use it.
You got to find out what it is you need and what it is you don't need, and it's easy to do that on the way home the first time. You'll run into all kinds of I wish I had's, or geez, I didn't use that, and that's how you learn. My favorite trick for that, by the way, just as a tip for anyone listening, is a little blue dot or a piece of blue tape. Put it on everything you bring, and after 5 trips, if there's tape on stuff, that stuff stays home.
That's a good tip. Yeah. One of my favorite features is the siren. So
thanks.
I love sirens on vehicles. I was sad when I had to take mine out when I took the 4Runner in, but being able to have the siren that goes off just means I get to annoy more people, my buddies. So
the intention is like, hey, there's a bear out there. I'd like it to go away.
Yeah.
But also it works to call the kids in for lunch if they're far away. It also works if you really want to annoy your neighbors badly.
That would be more of what I would use it for.
That's true as well.
Well, cool. Jimmy, any other questions for John here?
Not necessarily. I just want to say thanks for hanging out with us.
My pleasure.
These were the ones that my wife and kiddo, which we call the assistant and mini assistant, picked out. They were the ones. They're like, if we were going to get a trailer at this event, we liked these.
Well, they have perfect taste.
Right.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah. These are cool. These are rad, man. Good job.
You.
So
I appreciate that. Thanks for the interview, guys.
Yeah.
How can people get in contact with you?
Sure.
You did mention the website. Let's say it again if there's anything else.
That's the main thing. OregonTrailer.net. We do have a social media presence. Oregon Trail R, no apostrophe.
Okay.
That's YouTube and Instagram. I think Facebook.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. If anybody has any other questions, get a hold of John and he'll get them all.
Sawyer, my brother.
Sawyer too. Yeah, totally. I love that it's a family business too, and it's a small company. Cool. So yeah, congrats to you guys. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for taking. What is that? 25 minutes of your time here.
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
Time flies.
Yeah. It's a good time of day to be doing this though. It's cooled off a little bit.
So much more comfortable.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thanks for coming out, man.
My pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Same to you. All right. Thanks.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for tuning in and listening to some of our episodes or interviews from PNW Expo.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed your virtual Expo PNW trip.
Experience.
Yeah.
Virtually through the ears of Snail Trail 4x4.
In the comfort of your air-conditioned vehicle or home.
Yeah, well, we were in the sweltering 90 degrees sun.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. And like always, don't forget,
keep crawling. I got one.
You got a joke?
I have a joke.
Okay, I'm ready.
How do you fix a blueberry?
You let it chill on the vine?
No, you fix a blueberry with a blueberry patch.
Not bad. Not bad.